All right, we're live, gentlemen. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Survivor Series recap. Just give me a few seconds to share in the group, and then we are going to get started.
So not giving away any details because we want to, wait till we're like going and stuff. We talk. What'd you think of the show, Giovanni?
I think there was a couple of matches that salvaged the show, but other than that, it was a typical WWE pay-per-view where you really don't go in expecting much, but there's maybe one or two pretty good matches that you could be like, okay, it was worth watching. Maybe not the full 3 hours, but it was worth watching.
Pretty good assessment. I probably right around that same level as you.
We've got our master technician down there still getting ready, so we're almost ready to jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk about how I called the women's Survivor Series match.
We're going to probably do 30 minutes, and that's going to be like 15 of it.
Don't worry. We have something to keep him in line if he starts gloating too much.
Is that like the safe word retribution?
Yeah, usually mine's pineapple, but yes, for this time it's retribution. That's like the go-to one. Let's be honest.
Off the rails.
It's always pineapples.
Yeah. Well, for Jovan, it's Will Hobbs.
Will Hobbs, yeah, no, it's.
And for we got to come up with a safe word for Spencer.
So horrible, fucking Will Hobbs. Spencer.
Oh. What's something or someone that Spencer does not like at all?
I've got one, but we have to go off air.
Wow. Coming in with a hot take here. Giovanni, it sucks, and Undertaker's awesome. Wow, that's just rude.
Who was that?
That was Hunter, fellow admin.
Oh, you know what, Hunter? That's why freaking New Jack's gonna kill you.
New Jack's gonna kill you. New
Jack's gonna kill you.
We're not starting that already, are we?
Well, I mean, Hunter came at me first, and I was nice to him.
And even though I'm the only one that can give Giovanni shit around here, so.
Exactly.
Oh no, I do too.
Does he not know how this yard works?
Yeah, this is our yard. Okay.
Y'all just walking in it.
That's right.
Hold on, my camera's all messed up. Hold on.
Wardrobe malfunction.
What? Really?
No.
You showed a nip.
DDJ.
Oh God! All right, everybody, welcome to our Survivor Series recap. Like these gentlemen have said, we are probably going to roll through this quick. I do have to get up early for work, but we're going to roll through it and give our full review of it. So, yes, these two don't have to work. I do, but hey, let's just get into it.
I have to work tomorrow.
I don't have to work tomorrow.
Do you have to get up at 5 a.m.? No.
Nope.
Most likely, I'll probably be up around like 6 or 7.
All right, but let's get into it. Let's start off with the pre-show. We had the dual brand battle royal. Well, that's weird. So I predicted it was going to be Big E. Dennis predicted it was going to be Dominic Mysterio, and I almost forgot Jovan's, but he did predict it was going to be R-Truth. For whatever reason, R2 weren't in the match. Because Big E was, we found out later, getting dressed up in his Gears 5 attire, which looked
freaking amazing.
Badass.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But Dennis's guy, Dominic Mysterio, actually made it to the final 2 where he thought he won it, but then he was outsmarted by the veteran, The Miz, who was almost eliminated, but rolled back in before he went to the outside and won. Can't believe we didn't think about The Miz winning this one. But what were your thoughts on the first match of the show, the dual brand battle royal?
I liked it. I mean, again, it was kind of, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, God, these guys are not going to want to hear it from me once they realize that my prediction was actually the only one.
Yeah.
Battle royal. But I was actually on my way home from work when I was going on. So I had it in the car just to listen to the sound as I was driving and stuff. And I kind of periodically look over stoplights, things like that and stuff. And I'm just like, Dominic's still in it. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, maybe he's going to do it. Maybe he's going to do it. And then he got to the end and when he eliminated Chad Gable, and I'm thinking maybe, and then the Miz came, I'm like, mother.
I want to give just a thing. We don't encourage people to watch the WWE Network or anything while they're driving. DDJ.
I wasn't watching. I was listening to it through my car stereo.
Okay, I'm making sure that's blatant right there. I don't want no wrecks or anything.
The Junkyard does not condone unattended driving.
Absolutely not.
The only wrecks we want around here are the ones that we cause in this show.
That's right. Those train wrecks.
Oh, big train wrecks. Jovan.
I'm getting tired of false finishes when it comes to the Rumbles. I think WWE goes to that well too much with the I wasn't really out and I'm out now and I'm back. But hats off to the Miz. I'll get into another take on him later, but it was a good win for him. I don't think he needed it.
Nope.
Yeah.
But he got it anyway.
Well, yeah, I got my theory as to why R-Truth wasn't in the Battle Royal because he was off busy recreating an episode of Roadrunner versus Wile E. Coyote trying to win his 24/7 title back from the Gobbledygooker.
He got it. He
did get it.
We had an appearance by the Gobbledygooker on the pre-show and then also in the main show where he won the 24 title. But then, as these gentlemen said, R-Truth did win it back, and he's I don't know how many time champion.
Like 42 or something like that. He's in the 40s now with that.
He's broken Ric Flair 16 times by a mile.
No, you can't even put that in the same conversation. Don't even start with that. Oh,
man.
All right. Let's get into the main show now. We started with the Survivor Series mid-match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Didn't think they were going to start with. I knew they were going to start with one of them. I thought it'd be the women before the men. But this was a clean sweep by Team Raw.
Yep.
SmackDown looked absolutely trash. First, you had Seth Rollins basically sacrificing himself for the greater good. He got on his knees, he put his hands out, and he said, "I'm going home to Becky Lynch and my baby. Take me out." And guess what? I think Sheamus did. Kicked him. Done. And then I'm trying to remember the order of eliminations. Help me if I forget. I think it was it Kevin Owens next or
I think it was Kevin Owens because basically I know it came down to it was Jey because I know Jey Uso was the last man standing for
SmackDown.
For Raw.
Yeah, I think. SmackDown. Well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it was Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, Otis was left. I think the real story, honestly, that anybody just really needs to discuss, like Raw, they had, their dissension, they won. But the big story coming out of this one was Jey Uso. His back was against the wall, 5-1. There was absolutely no way he was winning. It was more like the story afterwards that happened later on the night when he had his interaction with Paul Heyman and Roman, and then the main event aftermath. Like, that's kind of what the only thing I really got out of it. They were doing their small little stories in this match, but that's the main thing that they wanted you to focus on.
Yeah, I was honestly really, really shocked at the fact that they went this route with the match. Like, I would have never thought that there would have been a clean sweep. Like I said, I had picked Strowman and Keith Lee. I think Spencer, you had it, or Giovanni had AJ Styles being the last sole survivor, and then I think Spencer, you had Keith Lee and Riddle.
Yep.
And that, so none of us were expecting what
no,
happened.
No,
and
not at all.
And the one thing I noticed about it, you had your little squabbles and everything, but man, that Raw team looked really good and unified, and they worked really well together. I mean, a lot better than I had anticipated.
Yeah, it's a good way to get that golden shovel and say, SmackDown, you're still show number 2.
Even though it is the better show week in, week out.
Which is why it was given no chance.
Yep. That's why I said when we did our prediction show Friday night, I'm like, I don't think this is shaping up to be a good night for SmackDown.
Nope.
No, not at all. I don't think we need to spend any more time on that match because it was probably very forgettable. Now, remind me, I think next match, was that the tag match next?
Yep.
Okay, this match, I don't know if I'll call it match of the night because I really did enjoy that main event, but I probably would say this was match of the night for me. You had the Street Profits, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, versus the New Day, as we mentioned earlier, the Raw Tag Team Champions, who came out in this badass gear because they are going to be DLC content for Gears 5, and they came out with the whole kit and caboodle, and they looked fire. Like, if you have not seen these, go out of your way, look it up. I'm going to go ahead and say it, Mattel, whenever you release these figures, just take my money now. I want them.
Spency
Hungy for those figures. Exactly. But that match was probably one of the best tag team match I've seen in a long time in WWE. These two teams are amazing. Like, New Day has been the top team for a very long time, and the Street Profits, they've slowly been getting up there. And I think this sort of was like a changing of the guard. Like, the Street Profits kind of, like, the New Day still had, their tag title reigns and everything, but I think this is the change in the guard, like a different direction now with them having the Street Profits go over. So I think for sure Street Profits are definitely, going to keep those titles for a long time, unless my prediction, I think they'll lose them to the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso down the road. But overall, great match. Please go out of your way if you did not get a chance to see this.
I'm going to steal a line from DDJ and kind of do his whole thing he does about Busted Open, where one person got over and the other person went over. Mm-hmm. This match kind of had a little bit of that, but I think it's a twist because the Street Profits went over and they also got over.
Yeah.
They got everything in that match, man. It had a big match feel. The spots looked real good.
Yes.
Everything about it. And to the finish, too, to have a good, clean finish. I think the Profits, that was the rocket on the back. Tonight was that match.
Yes.
3 words come to mind when I think about this match: passing the torch, because that is what we saw tonight with that match. We saw the New Day pass the torch to the Street Profits, and the Street Profits are primed and ready to take it to the next level and play with it. I said many times in the past, I said, when the time comes and the Street Profits Day is done, Montez Ford is going to be a major star. But I'm telling you right now, that team is just on fire, because, and you think about that promo that they cut before they went out to the ring.
Yes.
They were doing the whole comedy, like Dawkins was doing the beatboxing while, Montez was cutting the rap about the Undertaker. And then after a few minutes, it got serious.
Yeah.
And they were basically they were like, we want the smoke, and they definitely went out and showed it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a tough call between this match and the main event as for match of the night, but damn it, man, these guys may not be the match of the night, if anything, but if anything, this match stole the show.
Yes. I would agree with that too, for sure.
So,
but again, please, if there's 1 or 2 matches you go back and see, this is one of them that you need to seek out and watch.
And actually, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. This match, in terms of the main strictly WWE product, not counting NXT or NXT UK.
Right.
I'm going to say that do not be surprised if this match is in the running for match of the year when all is said and done.
Ooh.
That's my hot take.
I don't think there's no hot take about that one, DDJ. That was a fantastic match, and I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even Dave Meltzer might give it a 5. We'll see.
That would be that. You know what? Like I said, I've never been a fan of Dave Meltzer, but I'm very curious to see how he rates this match.
Yeah, even
don't talk bad about Uncle Dave.
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna go back and say fuck Dave Meltzer.
Wow,
there it is.
But I think it was Dax. He tweeted to Street Profits and New Day, thank you. And they're all about tag team wrestling, so that just shows you the appreciation they have for this match and these guys. Fantastic. Next up, we had, I think it was Bobby Lashley, the United States champion, versus Sami Zayn, the Intercontinental champion. Kind of had to walk away for a little bit, but I did catch the end. Basically, kind of what we knew. Sami Zayn, he put up a good fight, but Bobby Lashley had the hurt business with him and just put a whooping on Sami Zayn. Sami did try to outsmart him. They did make a callback to their feud, like before Saudi Arabia, how, Sami couldn't go because he had vertigo. So that was an interesting callback. But yeah, Bobby Lashley went over. He put him in the label lock, master lock kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sami Zayn was forced to submit. So the United States champion Raw gets another point.
I'm just I really didn't like this match, and this is probably in terms of like if I had to give an award for stinker of the night, it's going to go to this one.
Yep.
And it's nothing against either Bobby Lashley or Sami Zayn because I think they're both hella talented, especially Sami Zayn on the mic. But I mean, but Sammy's doing a great job playing that cowardly heel. But man, that match was just, I think there was just a little too much of that and not enough action and stuff. And that, I think the one part where I think I kind of laughed my ass off was towards the end of the match when Sami Zayn was backing up and MVP's just standing there and he actually tripped over MVP's foot and he's trying to get the ref to say, "Ref, he tripped me," and the ref wasn't buying. And basically, as soon as the referee, had his back turned, MVP threw him in the ring, and then that's when Lashley put the foam at Nelson. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was technically the only involvement her business actually had in the match when it came to the physicality. So I mean, kudos to Bobby Lashley for picking up the win, but man, I did not like the way that match was booked.
This match suffered from too much time. Had we had been able to have this as a quick squash match, Bobby Lashley goes in, wrecks shop, comes out, you get the same effect of him going over.
Yeah.
And it would have been a lot better than what it was. They just gave it way too much time.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he probably should have chopped off, honestly, 5 minutes off that match. Had Sami Zayn come out, get destroyed, move on.
Yep.
Save more time, for the Undertaker and his 20-minute walk.
Shots.
We'll get into that. Okay, next up you had Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion, versus Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion. We all predicted Asuka was going to go over. But Sasha pulled one over on us. She got the W in, I think, was a pretty good match.
Great.
These two did great. Great back and forth. Towards the end, there was a bunch of roll-ups, and you didn't know who was going to get the better of who. Sasha got one up on Asuka. So SmackDown gets another point here.
I guess in retrospective, it was the right way to go is because I think Sasha really needed a credible win, especially because she's had that stigma of really, she can win the championship, but, finally had a successful title defense, but she's never had, I believe this is technically the first time she's won a match on a pay-per-view where she went, even though the titles weren't on the line, where basically she came into the match as a champion. So, I mean, I really thought Asuka was going to win. And like I said, again, with the whole thing with Carmella, I thought Carmella was going to play a role in it and stuff. This way they could have given Asuka the win without really hurting Sasha. But I'm not mad about this. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm actually, it made sense for Sasha to go over. And I think it gave her a much needed credible win under her belt.
Yeah, I'll file this under surprise of the night. For me, this match gets an up. Never mind, that's trademarked. I think I love mat wrestling, and in the beginning, we kind of got that pseudo mat wrestling feel to it, where they're both rolling around in and out of submissions, in and out of holds. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
The match overall, very, 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 very good. Better than what I thought it would be, and the surprise ending sealed it for me. It was good. Mm-hmm. Surprise match of the show.
All right. We didn't think there was going to be any big surprises, but we actually did get something tonight. So kudos WWE for pulling one over on the Junkyard. Next, we're going to get to now. Dennis said his stinker of the night was Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, and it definitely was a stinker. Honestly, I think the next match was the stinker of the night for me, and that was the Women's Survivor Series match. Yes. You had Team SmackDown, Team Raw, typical. SmackDown came into this one, and they looked like a well-oiled machine in the beginning because, Bayley was captain. They were all lovey-dovey, hugging on each other. And then Team Raw looked like the biggest dysfunctional family of all time. It's like you got the family reunion. Everybody comes together. It's like, I don't want to take this family photo or whatever. And they just do their own thing. And then, of course, you had poor Lana just out. They're like, no, stay out of the way. No one likes you. If you don't do this, we're going to put your ass through a table. Thankfully, Lana didn't go through a table tonight. But they had like back and forth basically. And then when they got towards the end, Shayna got actually, first off, Peyton Royce, shout out to you. She defeated Bayley and pinned her, but then I got taken out. And then you had Ruby Riott, kind of like back and forth. And then towards the end, you had Shayna get disqualified because she wouldn't let go of the clutch, cure for the clutch. And then you had Nia Jax and Bianca Belair, where they both got counted out. And then there was one person who was standing to the side all along when she got a little bit of offense in to begin with. You can have your moment in a minute. Where there was one person standing outside, and that was Lana. And after these two got counted out, they were the final two. And then the sole survivor in DDJ, I'll throw it to you. I know I'm going to regret this, but Lana was the sole survivor. Raw went over. Go ahead.
7 words. Lana is the best. Lana's number 1.
Retribution.
I love you, Giovanni.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
The only thing that would have made that even sweeter for me than it was is if and I still think it's going to happen because it has to happen. This story they built, put basically like almost 2.5 months into this story with Lana going through the table week after week after week.
Yep.
It's just they've got something with Lana. They have to go on with this. Otherwise, it's just what was the point of giving her the win? Like she has to put Nia through a table somehow.
Yes.
And
he didn't throw a single punch in the whole fight. I don't think she put a legitimate move in the whole match.
You know what? Sometimes the battles are won not with brute force, but with. And for those of you who are listening, going to be listening to this on a podcast, I'm tapping my head, pointing to my very enormous brain.
He's pointing where the brain should go.
You're a fucking asshole.
Shots fired from Giovanni Tuhati, El Guapo Tuhati.
Pew pew.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay, so that's enough time on that match. You don't need to seek out that match. Lana was sole survivor. Move on. Not worth it.
Skip it.
Lana is best. Lana's number 1.
Retribution. That's gonna get old eventually. But we're gonna move on to our main event. You had the Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. They put on a great package before that highlighted everything that has happened over these 2 weeks. Drew winning the title back from Roman, and then their promo battle, not really promo battle, but they're kind of meeting on SmackDown where Roman said, you're the guy and, you can carry this brand. It's just you're doing it at the wrong time because Roman is the head of the table, and Drew, needs to prove that he can beat Roman. Please go out of your way to seek this match too. If the Street Profits and New Day is not match of the night, it would clearly be this one. These two gladiators, these two behemoths, these two champions, they gave everything they had in this match. Like there was so many counters, so much offense. You had Roman putting Drew through a table, Roman spearing Drew through the barrier. And then you had, as we mentioned before, Jey Uso in an earlier segment. He came to Roman's office and Paul Heyman was like, I don't know, he wants to speak to you. And then Roman just basically said, I'm done with you. Go away. You're out of the family, like kicking him out of there. Yeah. So Jey came back and distracted Drew which caused Roman to give him a low blow and then a Superman punch spear, which gave Roman the victory. And at the very end, Roman and Jay embraced. So that storyline will continue, as we know it will. Guys, what were your thoughts on that excellent main event?
Again, like you said, if it wasn't for, in my opinion, if it wasn't for the New Day versus the Street Profits, it easily would have won match of the night.
Right.
Stuff.
Yes.
That was physical. It was hard hitting, and just there were times where you thought Drew was going to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
And I, at one point when I'm, watching the match, I kind of thought maybe Drew was going to get the win because they kept pointing out like how Drew has never beaten Roman in a one.
Right.
And a lot of times in the past when we've seen some, stuff like that from the commentary team, the guy that never got the win finally gets that win,
Right.
Maybe they're going that route. But I mean, again, Drew just won the title. But I think the right decision was made. Roman going over was the right move. And yeah, that whole thing with, Jay and, coming back and helping Roman embrace it again. He's doing it because he's got to do what he has to do to provide for his family. He's not doing, and I'm sure there are probably some people out there thinking, oh, Jay's just nothing but, Roman's bitch or whatever that. But think about this. Me being a father, I have to, provide for my kid. I have to provide for my wife. I have to do, I used to have jobs where I hated it, but I still had to go because, I have to pay bills. I have to be able to provide,
Right.
That's essentially what Jey Uso is doing right now. So I think a lot of people out there really should be able to identify with him. I mean, he doesn't like what he has to do, but he has to do it so he can take care of his family. So, but all in all, it was a great match and it was a great main event. So
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Well, gentlemen, the match was amazing. It was hard hitting, like DDJ said, and the first time in a very long time the WWE got me to think that maybe Drew could pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
This one had a lot of close near finishes, the claymores, the spears before the spears through the barricades.
Yeah.
I was in this match more than I expected to be. The match for me was match of the night. The storytelling I could have seen Roman losing because they were kind of playing into the distractions he was having because Jay lost.
Right.
Jimmy showed up. He threw Jimmy aside. And then they kind of were playing into that during the whole thing is, maybe Roman's distracted. Drew's never beat him. And, the way the finish happened kind of led to my thought processes that The Miz should have cashed in tonight. You had never had a better time to have a slimy heel take the belt off of a champion than when he's just gone against the other big name in the company.
Yeah.
He's passed the hell out. Miz could have gone in there, gotten the 3 and gotten out of Dodge. And it would have still had it to where McIntyre continues this feud with Roman because I want to keep seeing that going on. But yeah, I think that's the only missed opportunity for me in this match was that there was no cash in.
No, I would probably say the match was great, and I don't think it needed a cash in. You have these two gladiators go at it, have a hard-hitting battle, and then, Roman definitely should have gone over for sure. He's like, whenever he loses, that needs to be something important. Don't just waste it on a SmackDown. It's like, oh, no, he got a quick loss. No, that needs to be an important win for sure down the road. But I think the Miz cash-in was definitely not the right call, and I'm glad WWE did not pull the trigger. And I think whenever they do eventually pull it, it'll be the right time. But right now, it wasn't.
I agree with that. I mean, I kind of thought the way that match ended, it was kind of setting up to maybe see the cash in and stuff. But again, like you just said, Spence, I'm actually glad they didn't because I almost felt like the cash in might have cheapened the match that they just had. I mean, again, that's, the Miz is that type of, heel and stuff.
Right.
But I just think for as good as that match was, like that a cash in would have kind of maybe, taken away a little bit of the shine from that match. So I'm like you, I'm glad they didn't go with the cash in.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a fan of the heel tactics, and the cash in has always been the ultimate heel move.
Oh
Is
yeah,
cashing in on the big guy when he's down and out, and you don't get more down and out than Drew McIntyre was after that match.
yeah. That definitely would have made Miz probably the most hated person in that arena, more than Roman Reigns, who was getting basically booed out of the building from the Thunderdome. And if he would have cashed in on McIntyre, like literally, he would have jumped to like top heel of the entire brand for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, great match. Please go out of your way to seek that one and the Street Profits versus New Day. We got one more thing to talk about on this Survivor Series card, and that was the final farewell to the Undertaker, and I do mean final farewell. We had like a lot of legends come out: Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Booker T, JBL, the Godwins, Savio Vega,
Mick Foley,
The Godfather, Ric Flair, Rikishi,
Shane McMahon,
and then Kane, who decided to come out in his Kane attire for whatever reason. But hey, that's you, bro. That's probably more The Office than anybody. But then we get another great video package for The Undertaker that kind of encapsulates what they can, like 2 to 3 minutes of his career, but it definitely deserves to be looked at a lot more closely. But then Vince McMahon comes out, and if you chronicled, like you saw the Last Ride documentary, you could see Vince have like close interactions, like kind of like him and Undertaker, him and Mark Calloway are like best friends.
Yep.
Because like after Undertaker had like his WrestleMania matches and he didn't feel good, immediately Vince went with him to the hospital. So Vince comes out, announces the Undertaker. Undertaker comes out, and first off, there was like Tesla coils, and they were doing the Undertaker theme song. That was badass. And then Taker makes his like 8-minute entrance to the ring. That's honestly probably the last time we're ever going to see that. Hector says, "Holy shit, waterworks." I know there was a lot of people probably tearing up because, again, this is the final farewell of the Undertaker. And I think from his words and his actions and everything, he's done. We're never seeing the Undertaker wrestle again. The Undertaker character is in WWE archives and will rest in peace. Guys, what were your takes on the Undertaker's final farewell?
An appropriate and fitting tribute. It was honestly, if anybody deserved to go to have a send-off of that nature, it was the Undertaker. And hats off to the WWE for actually doing him right, and not like, there being no shenanigans, no appearance by anyone to set up. Oh, they're going to have a match. They let him. He went out there and basically said, "You know what? It's time for the Undertaker to rest in peace," and he walked back, and that's how that show ended. 30 years to the day. 30 years ago today, he walked into the WWE, and 30 years later, he walked out. And my hat's off to him. And it just, again, never a more deserving person to have that kind of send off than Mark Calloway.
Absolutely.
Here we go. I let you two take the goodness, the good things, and the good vibes from it. So here comes hot takes.
Okay.
I 100% love the send-off. The interactions in the ring with him, with the Undertaker saying, it's time for the Undertaker to rest in peace. Phenomenal. There was no reason to parade out the BSK, the old friends.
Yeah.
Anybody, since they were not used at all.
Yeah.
They were just in the ring all together for a brief moment and then gone. Had they had stayed in the ring, had we had gotten some embracing, had we had them meet him at the ramp at the end, give me some reason to why they were there other than just to say they're here, I would have been more for that. Especially with Kane. I felt like Kane could have walked out with him at the end, like just walked out of there. Brothers of Destruction style.
Yeah. Throw the fist up.
Yeah, throw the fist up, and it would have been a good farewell. They're both done.
When you said you had a hot take, I'm thinking, oh my God, what does it say? But I mean, no, I honestly, and then thinking about that, there was nothing that they just came out, they were introduced to the Thunderdome. They came out, they stood around the ring, and then basically that was it. And so if there was one thing like that I would have to be critical of this was that, because other than they just came out and that was it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I 100% agree with Giovanni there.
Now the prolonged kneel for what seemed like to be a 5 or 6 gong strike was amazing.
Yeah.
And the holographic Paul Bearer, and to hear Paul's voice,
that was awesome.
Hector, that's when I lost it, buddy. I turned into a big baby to see him and hear his voice. That got the tears going, and just realizing that, damn it, this is the Undertaker's real last hurrah.
Yeah.
But besides that small misstep, man, this is a hell of a send off. Thank you, Taker. They let you in the show, and it was deservedly so.
Yes.
I think that's the only way you could have ended the show. You kept saying, "Oh, this should be the farewell of the Undertaker," and if anything, like a match would have happened, they would have cheapened it for sure. So they did the right call having this main event, not main event, but like the last thing on the show. And I know for myself, Jovan and Dennis, thank you, Undertaker. Thank you, Mark Calloway, for giving us 30 years, putting your body on the line and going in night in, night out. And even when it looked like you were done, you came back. And sometimes you were like, bro, you need to kind of hang it up, but you know what you needed to do, and you did it. So thank you very much. And Hector says, real men cry, real men do cry.
One thing I also want to give a shout out to in that segment was whoever did you mentioned the video that they did between, when all the guys come out and then Vince came out.
Yes.
Whoever did that video should get a bonus on his or her paycheck, because to take 30 years of the Undertaker and and basically edit it down to like about 2 to 3 minutes, and still basically be able to capture the essence of his entire career.
Right.
Bravo to that person who did that show.
But guys, any final thoughts on Survivor Series?
Like I said, it was. I really didn't have a lot of expectations going. Like, I didn't have high hopes or anything like that. And I got about, what I expected. But again, it's just, my God, like you guys have said, if you're going to go back and watch anything from that show, watch that tag team match and watch Roman versus Drew. And yes, also rewatch The Undertaker's farewell, because again, it's very rare that a segment where there's no match or anything ends a major pay-per-view. In fact, I want to say this is only the second time I can recall something like this going down. The first being when Randy Savage and Elizabeth got married at SummerSlam.
Right.
And that's so that tells you right there, just how much Taker not only meant to us as fans, but how much he meant to that company. Because they gave him the main event. They gave his retirement, his send-off, the main event of a major pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all you need to say, just yep.
Yeah, I mean, DDJ put a nice bow on it. It was, if you could watch, if you want to watch something on this match that wasn't the retirement special at the end, those two matches were the best things to watch. The tag team and the main event, which is Drew and Roman. Other than that, guys, this was another questionable match. I'll throw an honorable mention for that Sasha Banks match just because it fooled all of us. But if you're going to watch 2 or 3 matches, watch those 3 and definitely give Undertaker his due.
Yes, absolutely.
So who were predictions?
Retribution.
So kind of my final thoughts on Survivor Series is it's one of the big 4. And the matches that we're focusing on, they're champion versus champion. But the traditional Survivor Series match, the 5-on-5, it's gone down in quality, I think, every year. I think last year, it helped having NXT. But this year, both matches are kind of forgettable. There's really no reason to go back and watch them. So I hope for the next year's Survivor Series, hopefully fans, will be allowed back into the audience. And then possibly we can have 5-on-5 matches, or even put NXT back on the card again and have matches that, because some of them in the past years have been good, but just they've kind of, I don't know what it is. There's missteps and miscommunications or something, and it's just not hitting the same way as it used to.
Yep.
So sorry to end on a down note. Again, one more time, go back and watch Street Profits versus New Day, Roman versus Drew, and the Undertaker send-off. But other than that, kind of an okay show. But guys, thank you for joining us on our Survivor Series predictions. We'll be posting the audio after this, so if you didn't catch the video, you can catch the audio version. Make sure you guys are following PW_Junkies on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. If you want to, you can follow the host on our platforms. My Twitter is scanter11. Jovan, where can the people find you?
I am on Twitter at Giovanni2Hottie and on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page as Javon Minacho.
And I am on Twitter at Dennis W. Day JR, and also on the Pro Wrestling Junkies page, as well as just Facebook in general as Dennis Day Jr. Guys. Also, you can see me on Getting to Know a Junkie with Brad Marcus. Tomorrow, my episode drops. Ooh, I can't wait. I got no Shaq impersonations.
Oh, no. I saved that for you, DDJ.
Heart emojis.
Yeah.
So yeah. There's a little taste for you there. Go back and watch the past episodes, and you can hear Shaq and Mike Tyson and all those great characters Jovan
and the Water Boy.
Oh, the Water Boy. Can't forget the Water Boy too. Bobby Boucher. But yeah, for myself, Dennis, and Jovan, thank you for joining us for our Survivor Series recap show. Have a great night, and make sure you check out episode 4 of the Junkyard, which will drop Tuesday. So have a good night. See you guys later.